Hey guys, by popular request, here's an amalgamation of a bunch of my short stories about the intro. I hope you all enjoy. Story number 1. I think the first time I saw her was about 10 days ago. I couldn't believe my very eyes. A tall, young woman with raven black hair at the top of my stairwell. She was just standing there in front of room 302 on the 3rd floor. At first, I thought maybe she was waiting for whoever lives in that room, but that doesn't seem to be the case. She just stands there with her forehead against the door. She doesn't move at all. So creepy. That first day, and the next day, and the next, she was always standing in front of room 302. And then, few days later, I made my way up that stairwell, passing by room 302, and I saw her once again, standing tall, her hands against the door. She's stuck to the door. No, that's not it. Her face is stuck inside the door. And in that instant, I saw her pushing her head back and forth, nudging it against the door, or perhaps inside. She's staring at the inside of the door, and the more I looked at her, the more uncanny the situation continued to be. She would clench at the door, as it seemed her hands too were phasing inside. I couldn't believe my very eyes, as right before me, she continued to phase through until she was completely inside. For you see, ever since then, I've avoided the stairs. I wonder if she's still standing at the door of room 302. But I'm not the one who's going to find out. Story number 2. This is a story about a small village in the mountains somewhere in Japan, and their small god. The village was far from well off. Without fertile land to grow on, the villagers made a living off of hunting and gathering. Despite that, the villagers were grateful for the mountain daily boon and managed to get by with the help of another village at the base of the mountains. They led peaceful lives. In that village, there lived a pair of young sisters named Kiku and Tsubomi. Since they had no mother and their father left for the coast to find work, the girls lived with their grandmother. As the oldest, Kiku looked after her little sister and helped her grandmother around the house. She was a very hard worker. The three of them lived as tight-knit family and waited for the return of the girl's father in fall. Time passed, and the long-awaited fall eventually came. One evening, when the girls were out gathering wild vegetables, their grandmother told them that their father would be late coming home.
The rain caused a landslide and blocked the roads. He'll just be a little late. I promise. It'll be just a little longer. Your father will bring lots of souvenirs to make up for it.
But the little girl wept, saying,
No, I want to see Daddy.
It was a challenge to calm Tsubomi down, and then, by the time they realized Tsubomi was gone, the sun was already set. That was when they realized.
That girl, she went to go look for her father, I'm sure.
Not only were the mountains dangerous to traverse at night, but the woods were full of hungry beasts looking to fatten up for winter.
No! Kiku, don't go!
Kiku ignored her grandmother's pleading and ran into the mountains. Just then, she remembered something her late mother told her.
There, I have to go there.
And ran towards the outskirts of town. There stood a particular Jizo statue, whom the villagers referred to as Oguchi-sama. Kiku plucked a hair from the nape of her neck and tied it to Oguchi-sama's left horn. She recalled the words of her mother who had said, "Kiku, if you ever get lost, Oguchi-sama will save you, but you must always remember to."
Ugushi-sama, pray, Tai, I am X years old. Tsubomi is Y.
But that night, deep, deep in the depths of the woods, was Tsubomi.
Iku, Grandma, it's so dark. I want to go home.
And as she began to cry, Kiku called her name from behind. She turned around and couldn't believe it was her dear sister. For you see, by some miracle, Kiku managed to find a direct path to Tsubomi without getting lost in the mountains once. She comforted her little sister, who was very much scared, and the two of them rejoiced in their reunion. They once again recalled the words of their mother. Listen closely, Kiku. Chant this when you're trying to find your way home. And so, she began to chant.
Ugushi-sama, Ugushi-sama, kindly pull us. Pray, pull, pray, pull.
And in an unbelievable turn of events, the wind picked up, the trees swayed, the grass jittered, and the mountain roared. The two of them were dumbfounded. They couldn't believe what they were seeing and hearing. In an instant, stirring of animals and insects that could be heard throughout the mountains came to a complete stop. And from within the silence, they heard a voice. "Oh, beloved lost lamb, cross over countless mountains and rivers. Forget not your home. You still have trouble finding your way. I shall then shine light on your path. Let me pull your arm." A beautiful singing voice rang through the mountains. The two girls, they recognized it. It enveloped the girls in its warm resonance. Hearing that, the girls somehow knew which way they should head. The voice resembled that of their late mother. "Dear children, return to your mother's breast. O trees, O insects, O wildlife, cover not these children's eyes, cover not these children's ears." The trees and grass parted, and all of the animals in the forest held their breath. Guided by the voice of the girls, ran down the mountain as if following a path laid out before them. All that could be heard was the girls panting, in the beautiful singing voice.
May a light illuminate your footsteps.
Unsure of how much time had passed, when Kiku and Tsubomi finally escaped the woods, they were greeted by the familiar outskirts of town.
We made it!
Oguchi seemed to be smiling at their return. Kiku and Tsubomi thanked Oguchi from the bottom of their hearts. After saying their prayers, Kiku snipped the hair she'd attached to Oguchi with a pair of scissors.
Pray, sever.
Then, and long after, the villagers faithfully worshipped Oguchi as a god of guidance.
Thank you very much, Oguchi. We returned safely thanks to you.
But that was a long time ago, and as time passed, less and less people began to worship the idol, and eventually, it became more rugged and more decrepit until one day.
I never knew something like this was here. What is it?
It's me. Let's just do what we were hired to do.
We really didn't need this many guys for this.
No kidding. I wasn't sure what to expect since the chief priest was making such a big deal about it.
What did he say?
Just that it's very important and to be careful.
Why does the chief priest want this removed anyway? Beats me. Who cares? Let's get this over with and get some drinks.
And so, the statue of Oguchi shattered, and the nature around them went crazy, rustling and whooshing all about. And then, a voice sang from the distance.
The guest who visited tomorrow beckons the brightly shining darkness. A single child and 6 mothers drag the newborn grandmother by the leg
And sink the teeth into flesh covered in bone.
Story number 3.
This was quite long ago. It has already almost been forgotten. A memory from decades ago. I still remember that night though. I was sleeping with Mum, Dad, and Sister at my grandfather's house. Something left me uneasy. Perhaps it was a sensation from something, but it suddenly dissipated, to which I awoke. What? That was when I saw it. What happened? This is... Starting from the entrance to the deepest part of the house, my grandfather's room. I couldn't believe my eyes. Something about that strange and bizarre creature was familiar, but the more I followed it and gazed at its features, the more I began to realize its true identity. This is... But I didn't want to believe it. But it was. As I opened the door to my grandfather's room, all I could utter was but one thing. Grandpa?
see, Grandpa was very sick and ill at the time. I remember being quite sad as I knew his time was soon to come. I had to think quickly. Being the innocent kid that I was, I thought to myself, if I just leave it like this, then Grandpa, he will die. Grandpa, you can't leave! I'm begging you! Please wake up! Please wake up! Then, all of a sudden, the creature carried itself at a tremendous speed, traveling down the staircase, winding down the corridor. I couldn't believe my eyes. Had it listened? I could hear it coming from my grandfather's room, the echo of a pained moan. There was no mistaking it. This was definitely my grandfather's voice. It's now been a few decades since then. Is that Chang Zi? Welcome back. You're so early today. Yeah, there was no issue while transferring trams. Oh, well, you must be hungry. Why don't you go change your clothes first? Just use Grandpa's room. Oh, okay. Grandfather definitely did not die. However, definitely wasn't alive either. That night, I didn't allow my grandfather to just pass away. It was me who caused my grandfather to be stuck in that moment. Now, all I hear every time I go to visit his estate is those moans of him in pain. I'm afraid that this is all my fault.
Story number 4.
Again. Is it happening again? That thing. That person. They're coming again. No! Stop it! Leave me alone! Leave me alone! No! And I always manage to escape at the last minute. What? And you have that dream 2 or 3 times a month? That's really creepy. Why don't you go see a dream fortune teller? A dream fortune teller? Where could I go for that? I'm not sure. So, what does it say as it chases you? I'm not really sure. It's like a song that sounds like Buddhist scriptures. And it screams them as it runs after me crazy fast. And the worst thing about it is, it's wearing my dead grandma's.
The two of her friends paused and thought for a moment.
So?
It's your grandma then, isn't it, Sato?
No way! There's no way it can't be!
Okay. Don't take it so seriously, it's just a dream.
Well, I guess.
But upon returning home, Sato could not shake the horrible thought that it could really be her grandmother, back from the dead, haunting her. She didn't want to think it, but the more she thought about it, the more her imagination got the best of her.
I know that's what I told everyone, that it isn't my grandma. But why?
why am I so sure that... She paused for a moment, trying to recall all the memories of her grandma. Grandma... Did I do something to you, Grandma? Is that why you could be haunting me? Now that I think about it, how did she die? I remember the funeral, but did I get to say goodbye to her before she died? Sato passed out as the darkness of the night consumed the brilliant light. But something wasn't quite right. Something about her surroundings was wrong. That was when she awoke. It's cold. Not only was it freezing, but she began to hear those dreaded sounds once again. What? A dream? This isn't a dream. Who is that? Grandma? Oh no. What she saw appeared to not be of this world. It was human-like, but simultaneously unhuman. We were now diving into the realm of the uncanny. Its pale complexion perfectly light, as if never tainted by the sunlight of day. Not to mention those sunken eyes that seemed to be a never-ending blackness, followed by a mouth that could swallow you whole. That isn't my grandma. What is that thing? What about my grandma? What happened to grandma?
Story number 5.
A crow never forgets the face of a person who's done something bad to it. That's why you mustn't ever throw stones at them. Well, at least that's what my grandma always told me before she died. But... Hey! Once again, there were those dreaded crows, making a mess again amongst all the garbage bins outside our apartment complex. Every day lately, they seem to be flying in and just picking at whatever morsel they can find. Well, I guess they don't call these creatures scavengers for nothing. But the odd pattern and meticulous nature of these ones is just bizarre. It's really starting to get on my nerves. I think it's about time that I deal with it. Looks like they've made such a mess again. Just look at those damned crows. Just sitting up there, cawing away like they're laughing at me. You may call me crazy, but I swear, they were almost antagonizing me, as if they knew exactly what they were doing. And to make matters worse, it stinks and we're gonna get bugs everywhere. Damn it, these crows! And there they go, just cawing at me again. It's really starting to get on my nerves. Screw you, you crows! Huh? What? I hit it? No way. I didn't mean to hit them. I meant to just scare them away. That was when I felt an intense feeling of uneasiness loom upon me, which was then followed by the loud squeals of the creatures flying off into the vast sky. My anxiety increased, and then came sweating, starting at the brow and then dripping all down my face. My grandmother's words echoed in my head along with an ominous picture of those ruthless scavengers. A crow never forgets the face of a person who's done something bad to it. After that, what's going on? There are so many crows around today. That's when I realized that I had messed up. I wonder why. It's really creepy how they're not even cawing. They're just staring in. I was right. There was something wrong with these pests. Perhaps Grandma was right after all. But surely she couldn't be right. They're just animals. They aren't driven by logic like us humans. They're only driven by instinct. However, things only got worse from here. No matter where I go, no matter what I'm doing, completely regardless of the time or place, and slowly increasing in number, the crows watched me. Then, one day, I suddenly understood. Up above me was the silhouette of the beings that have tormented me so much this past while. Except, something was off about them. Something uncanny. A phenomenon that is inexplicable. It can't be understood by simple taxonomy or modern science. They are something not of this world. They aren't crows. There's something other than crows, and I fear I may not have much time left. So please, let everyone else know before it's too...
Story number 6.
A cigarette shop. Just follow this road. There should be a convenience store near the National Highway. Is it too dark outside? You want me to drive you there?
No, I don't want to drag my own grandma along just to get some beer. I think it's better if I get some fresh air anyways. I sighed as I closed the sliding door behind me. But it actually is completely pitch black. As he peered off into the distance, it was just as he had said. There was not even a smidge of light coming from anything, not even a neighboring city. But somehow, the forest that loomed in front of him was even darker. He ever so slowly made his way into the woods as the veil of darkness consumed him with each passing step. Eventually, he stopped in place and said to himself, "What's that saying? So dark you can't even see your hands in front of you." I guess that saying refers to these types of moments. Before electricity, all of Japan looked like this. Only one cigarette left, he muttered as he pulled out his lighter, placed his thumb against the ignition, and created a flame to light his cigarette. But little did he know, a face illuminated by the light was standing right beside him. He put the lighter away and let the smoke out through his mouth. What was that thing beside him? Was it human? Or was it something far more sinister? Story number 7. This is a mystic story, one that takes place in a foreign land far away, a never-ending story. Auntie?
Listen carefully, Peter. I'll say this because I'm your relative. When did Jenny disappear? 2 years ago. Either she ran away with another man, or died somewhere. You better give up and live peacefully with your sister.
No way! But they were soon interrupted by a man's scream in the background.
Look at him. He claims that he found his daughter who's been missing for 10 years in the sea. Everyone in town stopped him from diving in. I know how dearly you feel about Jenny. However, you better forget about her, or else you'll become just like that old man.
Jenny, does she not love me anymore? I'm no good. Even though she drew this for me. Don't worry, Big Brother will do his best. But that was when he heard a beautiful singing in the background. Huh? A song? This voice? Is it perhaps... He noticed a beautiful young woman singing a lullaby. And then, memories swarmed by in his head.
Peter, tomorrow's wedding's gonna be exciting.
Jenny? Jenny, where have you been? I've always been waiting. Let's go home. My sister is waiting. When we go home, let's let everyone in town know. Let them know we're about to move out too. Oh yeah, we need to get married first. Jenny?
Does anyone know this person? Peter Hansen, he's my older brother.
Cut it out, Anne.
Auntie.
Listen carefully, Anne. People who disappear in this town never return. Even if you find him, never go after. You're a good girl, so go home.
Brother, Jenny, where did the two of you go?
But that was when she heard a beautiful lullaby.
Singing? Brother! Where have you been all this time, you idiot? Let's go home quickly. Auntie was really worried. Uh-huh. Huh? Brother?
Hey everyone, thank you so much for watching. I'd like to take this time to give a very special thanks to my Patreons and YouTube members. Sarah de Jesus, Moto Surf, Cleo, Myuu, Kago, Andre Wolf, Voodoom, and Alex S. Thank you so much everyone, and remember, you're important and you matter. Have a good night everyone. Goodbye.